Namaskar, my name is Manish Kumar and I welcome all of you to my channel. In today's video, I am going to talk about how you can install Spark on your local without having so much of hassle. In today's video, I am going to use Docker Desktop as a tool to install Spark on my local. Also, you can have a Jupyter notebook as well as a Spark worker and a Spark master running. So if you want to write code in VS Code or PyCharm, that will also work, and if you want to be running like a Jupyter notebook, then that is also there. So if you have any trouble installing Spark in past, now there will be no problem at all, and trust me, this is going to be the easiest video to install Spark on local. So we will go to the laptop screen and see exactly how this can be done. Alright, so you can see my screen now, and here I have given step by step guide to install Spark. See what we have to do, we have some prerequisite like installing the Docker desktop, and the link is also provided. So if I go to the link, you can see here, wait, yeah, you can see here download Docker desktop button is there, and based on whichever operating system you have, you can download it from here. For me it's a MacBook, so and Apple Silicon, so I'm going to install this one, basically download this one and then I will install it. Installation is pretty straightforward, and the second thing that we will be required is Git. Okay, so Git is basically to just to clone all the details that I have uploaded here, because these are the things that will be required to you as well. That's why I have asked you to install the Git if you already have a Git. And how to check that you already have a Git or not, you can just go to the terminal and write Git, terminal or command prompt, whichever operating system you are using, right? Since when I ran this Git command, and I can see there are some options, so basically Git is already installed on my system, so I don't have to install this one. So basically you are going to download this and then just install, pretty simple. Click next, or just drag and drop to the application folder and your system will be having Docker desktop. Now to have a Docker desktop, you should have a minimum 8 GB of RAM, right? I think they suggest even less than 8 GB would work, but I don't think so. So 8 GB is minimum required, also because we are going to use a Spark, which is already memory intensive application to run. So we will be required a lot of RAM. So at least minimum 8 GB of RAM should be required in your laptop or a desktop, right? Then the next step, already I have a Docker desktop installed and Git is already there, so we don't like, I don't need it to install, but yeah, you have to install it. And then just one command is there, there is no any hassle that you have to do, just a simple setup, right? So now what is the next step? Next step says that create a project directory. This is just to keep your everything in one place, that is why this is created. Even if you are not creating it and if you are storing it somewhere, that's fine, but for this video purpose I am going to create one folder named Spark setup, and everything will be organized there in that folder. So I'll go to the finder, and or you can go to the respective operating system locations, and I'll create a new folder. I'll change the folder name to Spark setup. So I created the directory. Now I'll go inside this directory and then I'll do this git clone. Okay, git clone will basically clone all the data or the code or any files, configuration files that is there will in your system. So I'm going to run this git clone. So basically what I'll do, I'll see where I am, pwd. I think I am already at some path. Okay, now cd desktop Spark setup. I'll go to the Spark setup directory. There is no folder. Now I'll do git clone. So I copied the command that is there, right? Git clone, to get all the files that I have uploaded on my Git account, right? Now I'll go inside this Spark local setup and then do ls. Now this file docker compose.yaml has all the magic written that is required to run Spark on your local without any hassle. First I will run the command and then I'll explain you what all things has been written there, and if needed in future you can update according to your preference, right? So this command is there and that is the only thing that I have to run. Okay, now I'll go here, then see this command and everything will be up and running. I'll allow this. Now see Spark master image is pulling, Spark worker is pulling, right? And then bunch of things will be running. So I think everything ran, but for me I think I have already ran some of the steps, so it is not downloading again and again for those files that will be required. But for you it can take up to 5 minutes to install everything, and if something gets stuck in between you can just control C and then run the same command again and that should work, right? There is nothing that you have to do, you just have to run this command after cloning all the content of the repository that I have given you, right? Now once this is done, what is the next step? Next step says this will basically install three things: a Spark master, Spark worker and Jupyter notebook. Not install, this will create three container. Okay, so now we'll go to the Docker, and of course your Docker should be running. If your Docker is not running, then this will not be shown here. I think my Docker is running. So if I go here and go to the containers on the left side, you can see there are three container: Spark master, Jupyter and Spark worker, and this is the higher level directory, I would say directory name, inside which basically compose file or the path that we have been creating from, this one will be there. So basically this one is not there, like this one is not a container, these three are container inside this name, right? And see, you can see the container ID and all those details. If you are familiar with Docker, then it will be pretty easy to understand. If not, then still this is fine, right? Now I can run any Spark code, and since I have given you already the boilerplate for everything like a Spark setup, if you can go inside app, there is a job.py, or if you go to the notebook, there is an untitled notebook, basically name is there. So now what I'll do, I'll go to the container, and I want to see first how Jupyter is running on my system. So I'll click on Jupyter. This will give me one link here, 127.0.101.8088. So 8088 port or Jupyter notebook is running, right? And here is the one sample script that I have given you to run this one. If I do shift enter or control enter, then this should run the code, right? This code is running, Spark is running, we did not do anything, but still Spark is running. And I'll now see where this Spark is running. So I can see Spark UI is there. When I go to the Spark UI, this is not running, right? This is not running because the port is not correct. Here I have to update the port from 4040 to 4041, and I can see that my jobs are running, right? And I can see the DAX and everything. And also, if you don't want to go into any port number, specific port number, just open localhost 8080 and everything will be shown on this page. You can see here cores, I have total 8 core and 4 are being used, 4 are still unused, right? And same case with the memory as well, I have given 8 GB of RAM. I'll explain all of those things in future. If you needed to update these values, how can you update this and then rerun the container again, right? See here a name is Jupyter, basically this is the app name that we have ran just now. App name is Jupyter, that is what it is being shown here. If you want to kill this job, you can kill that as well. And if you want to see, okay, why I'm not, okay, because this is 4040, again 4041 will have to change. And these are the workers, then output and error files that is there, you can see those details, right? So now Spark is running. The second thing is, how can I run the code from my IDE, right? Same simple steps already, just one command that you will have to run and your job will be running. See, this is the command that you will have to run, and your script that, wait, I'll open in this one, VS Code, so that it will be easy to follow. And I'll go here, open folder where our code is, desktop, Spark setup, Spark local setup. This is where my all files are there, right? So if I go inside this job.py, right, here I have written the same sample script that you can run and test that your Spark is running or not. So what I'll do, I'll just right click here, open in integrated terminal and run the command that I copied from this place, right? This is the command. So I'll run this and see Spark is running. Again, I'll go to localhost 8080 and I can see where is 8080? Yeah, I can see now two jobs are running, one my job and one is Jupyter. So basically one is running from Jupyter, another one is running from VS Code. So now I can run multiple instances of a Spark job as well, right? And if I go here my job, because now it is on 4040, I can easily see it. For that one you will have to go to 4041, that's it. And now if I go here, I can see the DAX, I can see the details, I can go to the SQL, I can see the explain plan, everything will be there, right? So everything is working. Now we will go and understand how these things are working, because if in future if I have to update something, how will I update, right? That is where you would need a little bit understanding of Docker, right? If you already have a knowledge of Docker, then you don't need any explanation. But if you don't, then I will explain you a little bit some of the things that would be required. Otherwise your job or your code will not run as expected. First and foremost important thing is the path. If you see here, I have given the path name as this, right? But if I go there, right, I'll just do Control C, right? I don't want to run. If I do pwd, my present working directory is this, right, app, or maybe if this is a data, but this is nowhere close to the path that I have written, right? But still, if you can see, my file is there, right? Then how it is getting used, this, like how this path is working, right? That is where this, if you go to the compose file, see here, whatever data is it there in app, basically whichever data we are seeing inside app directory will be shown on opt/spark app to the Spark master. Now Spark master does not understand any other path than app and data. If you give any other data, any other folder name, it won't understand and it will throw an error that file is not present at given location. But your file will be present, and then you will be frustrated why this file is not present. But actually the file is also there, but container does not know that how to go to that particular path. That is where this mounting works. And this mounting, that's why I have created three folder. Basically app is to run any job from any VS Code or PyCharm, basically IDE. Data to store data input and output, so that at least you don't have to worry. But anything you can create inside a data, right? Any folder you can create, inside app, but you cannot create outside or parallel to this location app. So that thing you will have to keep in mind, okay? And notebook is the same location. So that is where this mapping is basically working. So all the time, like always, you will have to give this path and not your local on local directory path, the one that we see, right? So that thing you will have to keep in mind. And also, since you can you can have a stronger configuration machines, or you can have a less strong machines, in that case you can update these two things. Total number of cores I have given 8. Let's say you already, like you have just 8 cores, then you cannot allocate all the cores to the Spark workers, right? And the same goes to memory as well. So you can change this number, maybe if you want to change it to 4, and this one also to 4. and once you save it, right, again this thing will not take in place. You will have to run the command again. The command that we ran is this one. Which command we ran? Where was this docker compose up and down command? Wait, this command you will have to run again to take these changes in effect. Apart from that, I think pretty much everything is same and you don't need to worry about anything. 4041 was basically confusing, because if you see in Jupyter, this is the 4041 mapping to 4040. So by default Spark uses 4040 to show the jobs, right? But I am already giving 4040 to another Spark master and this one worker. Now Jupyter is also using this master. So in that case, I will have to change the port number. That's why I have given 4041 rather than 4040. Otherwise, it will throw an error that this port is already in use. So these are the all things that would be required to run the Spark on local system, and also Jupyter notebook will be running on your local system. So this is how simple it can be to run Spark on local. But yes, of course, Docker desktop is pretty expensive. um, like it requires a lot of RAM and CPU. That is where this can be challenging if you have a lower end configuration machine. Otherwise you are good if you have 8 GB or more than 8 GB of RAM with 8 core CPU. So I hope your problem is solved now. So I'll close this video at this note, and we will meet in the next video. Till then, bye bye.